Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. Today we're going to do the top 5 autumn perfumes. Check this gorgeous background out, the little cottage in the middle of nowhere on a mountain, little tiny, teeny, tiny meadow, very relaxing, soothing vibes. This autumn, I don't know about you, but I just want to disappear in nature and be gone and be done with social media, with the news, with everything that has to do with negativity, also social media detox, internet detox, all that good stuff. Maybe bring 2 or 3 good books that you like, or just one book that you want to read several times, and a bunch of perfumes. And we bring them to this little cottage and have fun. So everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. So subscribe, thumb up the video, and let's get to it. My first one to celebrate the return of Boudoir. Vivienne Westwood has re-released Boudoir. This is the Coty old version of Boudoir, not the original Lancaster version, because Boudoir was released first under Lancaster. Lancaster was incorporated by Coty later on, and then we got this Coty version for many, many years. Then this was discontinued fully. You can check out my video on this one where I explain why Vivienne Westwood didn't want to have anything to do with Coty anymore. And then now, unfortunately, Vivienne passed away in 2022, and the Vivienne Westwood company took the perfume. I don't want to say rights. They already owned the rights to Boudoir, but the license, they took it back and they created their own division, Westwood Beauty or Vivienne Westwood Beauty. So they are planning to release a ton of things, but like the first one is going to be Boudoir, and they released it in limited quantities, has a new design without the sticker, has a printed Boudoir name on it. Doesn't matter. I'm just celebrating the fact that it's back. I have not tested the new Boudoir yet because I haven't received the notification that it arrived yet to the boutique so that I can go and pick it up. But anyway, I have loved Boudoir for many years, and when I heard the news that it was discontinued, I stocked up, bought a ton of bottles, because back then it was like so cheap, like they were selling it for 20 bucks, in drugstores everywhere. You could just dumping prices, and then when it was gone, all of a sudden prices skyrocketed, in some cases even to $600 a bottle. Now that the new one is being released, I've been told that in Europe it costs for 50 milliliters 120 euro. So I presume in the States, knowing Westwood, because they upped their prices in America, it's going to be $160, $180 maybe. But we'll see. I'm hopeful that it's going to be around 120. These are Chanel prices. It's a little bit hefty for this perfume. And it's been reformulated, so I don't know if it's going to be as intense as this one. Yes, the liquid is originally pink. As it oxidizes, the overdose of vanilla in here turns to this amber color. That does not mean that the juice has gone bad. It doesn't mean that at all. It's still perfect and beautiful. It's just the oxidization, it's no longer bubblegum pink. It turns into this beautiful gold ambery color. Divine smell. We got the marigold, we got the honey, we got the tobacco, we got the roses, we got violets, orris root. I mean, it's very earthy, grassy. The marigold is very dirty, very soily. Love this background for this particular perfume. This one I would take into the cottage. It is a post-coital smell, as Vivienne Westwood liked to describe it. A roll in the hay, back in the Victorian era. Maybe there's a barn somewhere nearby where you could enjoy this. This is very much to be enjoyed in nature. Just be careful, That's why I love it in autumn in nature, not in summer, because it can attract insects as well as animals. So be careful when you use perfume in nature. You got to dose it just right. Man, is this a beauty. I adore Boudoir. I've been told that the new formula is a little bit watered down. It's no longer that intensity that it used to have. Andreas Krontala, Vivienne Westwood's widower, and he's now the artistic director of the Westwood Company. He also does the Krontala, which used to be called Gold Label Collections for Westwood. He also does the Vivienne Westwood collections now. He brought back the perfume, right? And he says about it that they're using I don't know how sustainable, not the processes that for extraction of molecules for the perfume that don't damage the environment as maybe old school processes were. But that's all, I don't know what to think about it. But greenwashing and all that aside, potential, alleged greenwashing and all that aside, I'm just hopeful that the new Boudoir smells even closely as good as this one, even though the price is much higher. That's the same price, like 120 euro, 50 ml eau de parfum is the price of 50 ml eau de parfum Chanel number 5. Granted, it's €2 more expensive. It's 122 euro for number 5 and 120 euro for Boudoir in Europe. But there you have it. And the lid will change. It's no longer going to be this plastic transparent orb with the gold around. It's going to be fully metal, kind of like a rosé gold lid. Oh, so dreamy. And the roses in here are delicious. Deliciously antique, dusty and powdery. There's nothing like Boudoir. It is chef's kiss. It really hits the spot for me in autumn this year. And I think this setting is just beautiful. If I do find a shopping link to it, I'll post it down below, but there's no distribution for it right now. So let's see. My number 2, also fantastic for this setting. My number 2 would be a Chanel perfume. And I love this sandalwood accord in Egoiste. It is very festive. Usually, I choose Egoiste towards the end of the year, like December, because it almost smells like a festive sitting in front of a fireplace, relaxing with an eggnog, you know, having some beautiful dried oranges, tangerines, and lemons next to the fireplace, and then they emanate that beautiful smell. You kind of pinch them with a bit of cloves, and that smell emanates in the room together with that crackling wood in the fireplace, mixed with maybe a pipe that somebody smoked or is smoking. That whole vibe, that's Egoiste to me. I mean, it is so festive. It is so cozy. It is so warm, alluring, inviting. This is, of the male offerings from the Chanel fragrance range, yes, I do adore my Henri Robert Pour Monsieur Eau de Toilette. Always goes first because it was also created during Coco's life, but this is on my second spot. Egoiste is definitely my number 2, if not almost number 1. And it does contend its place with Anteus, but, and I'm not talking about Egoiste Platinum, which is kind of a lavender fougere bomb. This is a sandalwood, warm, spicy, clovey, rosy vibe. It is so beautiful. It's way ahead of its time. Check out my updated review of Egoiste, because I do re-review this one every couple of years as the formulations progress. But my latest review of this one reveals very interesting information about the time frame, the socio-political, socio-cultural time frame of this perfume. It was launched in 1990/1991. And there's a very big history behind it. It was way ahead of its time. Mostly perfumes of this nature and caliber were launched in the early 2000s. So you could say this one was a decade early and very misunderstood in many countries. Matter of fact, in the United States, this one was not that popular. In Europe, it worked. It sold well. But in the States, the sandalwood, soft, clovey, rosy accord was not very masculine. Early 90s, they wanted those mask for mask perfumes. They had to be very powerful, very kind of barbershop in your face, punching you type of perfumes. Anteus is like that too, by the way. This is Jacques Polge, the nose behind this one, also the nose behind Anteus. But so this was a more softer side to masculinity, Egoiste means it's a guy who takes care of himself and wants only to deal with him. That is a fingerprint magnet, though. The lid. And he's kind of only dealing with himself, very egotistical, and gets caught having an affair with all the ladies in the building. Hence why the video ad for this perfume was very symbolic of that. He's living in the center of this palace, and the ladies are living all around, and they're all opening their windows, yelling, Egoiste, Egoiste. They all figured out that he was having an affair with each and every one of them, and he kind of kept his windows shut because he found out that they all figured out what was going on. But they still wanted him, they still desired him, and he was just, playing it low, waiting for his next moment to strike again whenever he wanted it to, because he's under control. He's the egotist that takes all for himself. And this perfume strangely has that. I mean, it's not an aggressive perfume at all. It's very soft, beautiful, but it does take what it wants. Very interestingly, it sets a specific tone. You can't misunderstand this one. Like, you can't take it for something that it's not. It dictates the moment in time, right? And it is very, very cozy and inviting and festive. And this kind of retreating autumn reflection, toning down everything and just kind of going into a place and into a space where you focus, maybe a little bit egotistically, but you focus on yourself, and you want to heal your soul from all the stresses of the world, because times are tough. So that's my number 2. If I do find a link to this one, I will be posting it in this video. Now, my number 3, oh, how much I love this one. How much I love this one. This little beauty falls into the cheapie category. This is Oscar by Oscar de la Renta. Mm. Even though this is the new formulation, right? It doesn't bother me. I mean, of course, if you get the 70s version and the 80s version, those are majestic. But you know what? The dry down of this one is just as good. This is a white floral, but it's a powdery, there's a creamy, buttery ilang ilang musk in there that just, oh man, it's beautiful in summer, but I am really enjoying it in autumn this year, because if I were really, to go to this cottage and just like spend some time alone in nature, this one is so soothing and almost like a meditational fragrance. It echoes the memory of summer, and it's also kind of a promise that a new summer will come after autumn and winter have passed and we survive the cold, depending which climate you're in, of course. But it's such a soothing, beautiful, clean, powdery accord that just smells of taking good care of yourself. It's very luxurious. And the fact that nowadays this is a cheapie, of course, if you go on the Oscar de la Renta website, they sell it for like full retail price, like $100. They've discontinued the 30 ml. Like, I've seen only 50 ml and 100 ml on the website, but they do sometimes have the 30 ml, which is what I have here. Love the proportions of this bottle, where the lid is the same height as the bottle. And you can get it, at Ross, CVS, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. So that's where I got mine at Ross, and I got it for, I think, $20. I can't remember anymore. But check out my review of Oscar de la Renta. I also analyzed the time in which it was released and how culture was and how fragrances were and how life was and different times, But the fact that this one is a cheapie nowadays, you can get it for $20 or less, is so wonderful, because it doesn't smell cheap, and cheapie to me is never a derogatory term. I'm really happy when I find a cheapie that I love, because I think $20 or less, for me, cheapie is like $20 or less. And check out my top 5 cheapie perfume video. Also, my best cheapies video. Those are very informative when it comes to selecting really good quality cheapies, at least in my opinion, good, that make you smell amazing, and you don't have to break the bank for them, Some perfumes are really expensive, but they don't have to be expensive to be wonderful. And Oscar is one of those. I mean, you smell like $1,000,000 when you wear this. There's almost a smidge of incense in here as well. Like, it's giving me very soothing, relaxing vibes. And then there's a hint of lavender. So there's like freshness that keeps coming there, but then there's that buttery lungy lung. Oh man, it's so beautiful. And that little floral emblem is so indicative of this perfume, creamy, buttery, and then like that asymmetric lid, historic, with that little mirror top, also fingerprint magnet. Love this one to bits. If you can find it, $20 or less, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. This is one of the best cheapies out there, in my opinion. Love it to bits, and it's so soothing in autumn on many different levels. Now, if I do find a shopping link to this one, of course, I'll be posting it down below. And the next one is, while you're thumbing up the video and subscribing, thank you so much, you guys. My next one is, unfortunately, on the expensive side, but I got it many years ago when it wasn't that expensive, when it was still made in an eau de toilette concentration. Now you can only get it in an eau de parfum concentration. And for those of you who know me, you know when I'm talking about discontinuation of the toilettes, it has to be a Chanel Les Exclusifs perfume. It is. And, oh man, 31 Rue Cambon is my autumn love. And this one has oxidized as well. Look at that vanilla turning ambery gold inside of it. It's not this dark when you buy it fresh. It's more light in color, more yellow. And you can see in the back, it says Eau de Toilette on the sticker. So Eau de Toilette has been discontinued. We do have the Eau de Parfum, also beautiful. But the Eau de Toilette has a certain edginess to it, which is just, it's such a modern day Chypre fragrance. Deep, there's incense in here. Vanilla, labdanum. There's a red accord, almost like an orris root meets some wet grass. The bergamot is golden. There's suede, there's leather hints in there. A lot of patchouli. There's sweetness, but there's also dryness. I mean, it's an haute couture dress. That's why Jacques Polge with Christopher Sheldrake both coordinated this fragrance. That's why they called it 31 Rue Cambon, because that is the headquarters of Chanel's haute couture maison, which is coincidentally also the headquarters where the artistic directors design the collections, or part of them do. And obviously, to symbolize the complexity of handmade garments, the perfume also had to smell of that complexity and sophistication. And so, why this perfume for autumn for my little cottage in the middle of nowhere? I mean, if one could afford it, could you imagine having your full wardrobe of just Chanel haute couture dresses and gowns? And I mean, you know, if you've been buying their stuff throughout the years and you can still fit in the stuff that you bought, let's say in the 90s, you know, they also used to make more boudoir-esque items from time to time. You could have a little a bathrobe or something, you know, just like, could you imagine taking your haute couture Chanel wardrobe just for yourself here in the middle of nowhere into this little cottage and just like living in your Chanel haute couture for a couple of weeks, drenched in perfume every day. Nobody sees you. You have no internet. You can't just like take selfies of yourself and say, oh my God, I look amazing, and post it on Instagram. None of that. You're just alone with yourself, like enjoying the company of yourself, you know, living for yourself, your fullest life. Healthy food, healthy mountain air. And then you got a little pond here with little fish. I love the bucolic atmosphere, and that kind of escapism is such a dream for me. You know, I wish I could just live totally out, you know, away from society and civilization, and just like be on my own and enjoy life in nature, calm tranquility, not get FOMO from anything, not look at stuff online, you know. Oh man, I need that cleanse. And ugh, so beautiful. And also, I don't know, I'm thinking like life needs to slow down, you know. We've been very fast, and it's gone faster and faster and crazier, and people are bananas at this point. I don't understand people anymore. And it would be just so nice to kind of detach from all of this, and also not partake in anything, you know, taxes or nothing, because you're detached from everything. Like you don't benefit from taxes. There's no city infrastructure, you know what I mean? There's nothing there. There's no electricity. You're living on candles, basically. Um, oh man. Anyway, so hmm, 31 Rue Cambon is just magical for escapism, in my opinion. Now, that cleanse I was talking to you about, okay, I do this rarely, but sometimes it happens that for the fifth, it doesn't matter if it's the fifth, fourth, third, second, or first, but within my top 5 selections, sometimes the perfume that I select is in a different form. It's like a bath body product instead of perfume. Now, I'm going to show you both the perfume and this particular product, but I just love it. And I think it's so soothing and calming and beautiful for this time of year, also to take with me here. I mean, obviously, I don't know how, I guess I can only bathe here in the little pond, or I don't know if there's like water in the cottage. You know what I mean? Full blown nature. Now, obviously, there should be a little river with running water in here, unless, like, either there is running water, like a little river that keeps cleansing the water. Then, yeah, we could bathe in the freezing water. Sure, why not? It's very energizing. But if it's a pond with still water, then no, I'm not going to do that. Then we need to figure out how we're going to get some running water in here. But to bathe, oh my God, Guerlain just released. Oh, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by any one of these brands. I bought all of these perfumes myself, just to be very clear. Guerlain just released this, and they just kind of didn't even announce it. They just dropped it, I guess, for the 100th birthday of Shalimar. Obsessed. I just bought it, and I used it for 2 showers now. Oh my God, Shalimar. This is the satin shower, not gel, oil. But it does foam a little. So it is jelly. You can't use this as an oil. It is kind of a gel oil, right? So you have to wash it off after you use it. Oh my God. It smells of burnt vanilla. It's so, I mean, so it's 200 milliliter, right? You see, it says satin shower oil. You can check out my review of it. The perfumed ritual, or Le Rituel Parfumé. Shalimar Guerlain just released their satin shower gel, or shower oil. And you can see for like 2 showers, this is how much I used up. And I am very generous with my dosage. So this is it's a plastic box, not glass, container, not box. So obviously if it falls, I mean, it's thin plastic, it might crack. So don't let it fall. It has a beautiful plastic lid with that Guerlain logo there. Oh my gosh. And then the Guerlain insignia over there. And you look at that shiny oil on top. Oh, oh man, yeah. Now we're talking. So yeah, this one, I hope it's not a limited edition. I'm definitely going to buy a second batch of this. This is very autumn and winter because that vanilla is so warm. The citruses in there are also very inviting and refreshing. And then the oil, how it feels on the skin. By the way, I just took a shower before I started filming, and the skin feels amazing. I didn't even have to like lotion up after. It's so beautiful. Very, very, I don't want to say either moisturized or hydrated, one of the two, but my skin feels amazing. And a very light smell. So that's why I also want to bring in the Eau de Cologne. It's been discontinued, unfortunately, but this is my favorite concentration of Shalimar together with the Extrait. The Extrait is still in production, but this is very civety, musky, very animalic, a little bit dirty. Love the Eau de Cologne after shower, but this vanilla in here is kind of a newer take on the Guerlinade by Guerlain. So this one smells closer to what was released a couple of years ago, actually 2 years ago, which would be the Iris, Millésime Iris from Shalimar. So kind of this smells very close to this, to the Iris Millésime. So, you know, if you already bought this 2 years ago, this was a limited edition. I don't know if you can still find it somewhere, but so this one is $70, just FYI. So it's 200 milliliter. I think, you know, I mean, I do have other shower gels, so it's not like I'm using only one. And so this is like for winter and autumn. I'm sure this would last me at least 2 years. considering that I use other smells as well sometimes. But so, yeah, it's expensive, but it's really, 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 it smells amazing. Like while you are taking a shower with the satin shower oil, or if you put it in the bath as well, I don't know how that would work, but just smelling it is very soothing. It's almost like a spa. So this is a very healing smell. And I think in our cleansing ritual of kind of, the escapism of it all this autumn of 2025, you you need to have that sense of cleansing yourself and healing the soul also while you are taking a bath or a shower. And this is the beginning of that ritual, before we end with applying actual perfume, we do shower. Now, some people like very light, gentle fragrances, which is also wonderful. I'm all for microdosing in general for perfumes, but some people might not want the perfume. Some people really only enjoy shower gels, or in this case, shower oils, which are rare. Usually it's a gel or an oil, but not a shower. It's either a shower gel or an oil or a bath oil or a body oil, but a shower oil is rare. So beautiful formula for this one. And what can I say? I'm so glad they released this. I hope it's not a one and done thing, So I might have to get another bottle before the jig is up. So yeah, this was my number 5, right? If I get a shopping link to this one, I'll post it down below. And man, what a beauty. And maybe sometimes, you don't want to have like the full-blown Shalimar. Like you can't, I don't know, maybe 150 or whatever this costs. Too much. 70's half that. But this is like 50 ml. This is 200 ml. Yeah, it doesn't smell as long, but in the moment when you're showering with it, you feel special. It makes you, it's soothing. The smell is calming. The smell is soothing. It's a modern take on Shalimar. It's not the old school Shalimar. It's, like I said, those modern Guerlain musks and that modern Guerlinade, which is a softer type of vanilla, which does smell slightly burnt in the dry down, and I love that. The darkness, like when a vanilla goes a little bit dark, I personally love it. It also smells quite natural too. Mm. But, top notes, very citrusy, very fresh, very bergamoty, which is also very typical of Shalimar, especially if you have the extrait of Shalimar. That opening accord is soft, tart, citrusy, really beautiful, very zesty, effervescent. And then it goes into the woods. And just like here, we have the effervescence when we bathe, and then we go into the woods and it gets darker and deeper. That's literally Shalimar. Love it to bits. And look how beautiful this bottle color and shape also fit into this landscape. Oh man, just makes me want to go to past times. So that would be my selection of my top 5 autumn fragrances for this year. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thumb up the video, subscribe, and let me know your favorites for autumn. Which ones are you wearing right now? And until next time, never forget to never give up on fragrant love. Subscribe.